What if the skies above became the new battlefield? Not tomorrow, not in the distant future, but right now. Two invisible predators, one from the heart of America, the other from deep within China, are rising quietly, built not just to fly, but to dominate. They're not just aircraft, they're ghosts with wings. The F-35 Lightning II, crafted by American minds backed by decades of battlefield experience and powered by the strongest alliances on Earth. The J-35 stealth fighter, China's bold entry into the elite club of fifth-generation warplanes, sleek, secretive, and ambitious. And here's the chilling part. Both of these jets are designed to strike before you even know they're there. They don't fight loud, they fight silent. And in today's world, that silence speaks power. But this isn't just about hardware and speed. This is about who leads the skies, about technology, vision, strategy, and yes, trust. Because in the face of global uncertainty, knowing which side has the real edge in the air isn't just fascinating, it's vital. Support our forces by commenting something positive below. Let's show them our respect. Let's flood that comment section with gratitude for those who fly into danger, so the rest of us don't have to. Now, buckle in, because in the next few minutes, we're pulling back the curtain on the deadliest aerial rivalry shaping up in modern history. Every aircraft tells a story, not just through what it can do, but why it was built that way. And when you look closely at the F-35 and the J-35, their stories couldn't be more different. Let's start with the F-35 Lightning II. Born out of the U.S. Joint Strike Fighter program, the F-35 wasn't designed for one branch of the military. It was built for all of them: Air Force, Navy, Marines. That means this jet had to be versatile, dependable, and ready for any mission. Whether it's flying off an aircraft carrier in the Pacific or soaring deep into contested skies with complete stealth. It's not just a fighter jet, it's a floating command center in the sky. Now, look at China's J-35. A newer contender still being refined, the J-35 wasn't made to serve a global alliance or dozens of nations. It was made with one clear goal: to close the gap between China and the West. To show the world that China could build something that looks and flies like a fifth-generation stealth fighter. The design is striking. Twin engines, smooth curves, sharp angles. At a glance, it almost looks like a cousin of the F-35. But that's where the similarity ends. Because while the F-35 was forged through real combat requirements and allied feedback, the J-35 is built on ambition, secrecy, and a very different kind of battlefield testing, one that's still mostly theoretical. And here's something subtle but powerful. The F-35 was created to integrate, to fight as a team. The J-35? It's built to compete, maybe even replace older Russian aircraft in China's arsenal. Two jets, two nations, two visions. Now let's lift the hood, because no matter how sleek a fighter looks, it's what's inside that makes it a true force in the sky. Starting with the F-35. Inside this American beast is the Pratt & Whitney F-135 engine. And make no mistake, this isn't just an engine, it's a powerhouse. Producing nearly 40,000 pounds of thrust, it can launch the F-35 off a carrier deck or runway and rocket it past the speed of sound in seconds. But it's not just fast, it's smart. The F-135 is designed to work in silence with minimal heat and radar signature, which is a big part of what makes the F-35 so hard to see, and even harder to stop. Now take a look at China's J-35. It uses a twin-engine setup initially with Russian-designed RD-93s and now transitioning to China's homegrown WS-13 and WS-19 engines. On paper, having two engines sounds like an advantage, but here's the catch. They're not as powerful, and more importantly, they're not as proven. Engine reliability is one of the biggest challenges in fighter jet development. And while the US has had decades to fine-tune its engines in live combat, China is still working to bring its systems up to that same level of confidence. The J-35 may eventually match the F-35 in thrust or agility, But right now, when it comes to engine maturity, fuel efficiency, and combat readiness, the edge goes to the F-35, without question. And remember, an engine isn't just about speed. It affects everything: range, altitude, maneuverability, and most critically, survivability. The US built the F-35 with the mindset, if you're in it, you come home safe. That's not just engineering, that's a promise. But power is only one part of this puzzle, because even the fastest jet can be shot down, if it's seen. When these jets are flying at high speed, thousands of feet above ground, one thing matters more than speed: weapons, or even altitude. Being seen or not. The F-35 doesn't just fly, it disappears. Its entire frame is crafted with stealth in mind. From the angled surfaces that deflect radar waves to the specially coated skin that absorbs them, everything serves one goal: don't show up on the enemy's radar. Even its weapons are carried internally to avoid leaving a radar signature. That's not theory, that's not marketing, that's real-world stealth, tested in actual missions over hostile territory. The J-35 tries to follow the same principle. On the outside, it features diverterless supersonic inlets, internal weapons bays, and a smooth finish designed to cut down on reflections. The design is impressive and certainly a leap forward from China's earlier jets. But stealth isn't just about shape. It's about systems integration, electronic emissions, and operational discipline. The F-35's onboard computers control how it communicates, how much heat it gives off, and even how it positions itself to avoid detection, all while the pilot focuses on the mission. There's no doubt, the J-35 was designed to be stealthy. What's less certain is whether it can stay hidden across all phases of a real-world mission. Unlike the F-35, it hasn't been tested in live combat or against advanced radar systems deployed by NATO or the US. When it comes to stealth, there's a difference between looking invisible and actually being invisible under fire. That's the edge experience gives. That's the edge America owns. And there's another side to this story. Being unseen is half the equation. The other half is seeing everything around you before it even becomes a threat. Once stealth gets the aircraft close, it's the weapons that finish the job. Inside the F-35 sits a carefully balanced arsenal. Every missile, every bomb, every sensor is selected to ensure the jet can strike with precision, speed, and surprise. It can carry AIM-120 AMRAAMs for long-range dogfights, AIM-9X Sidewinders for close-range threats, and a full range of smart bombs, including the GBU-31JDAM, which can hit targets with pinpoint accuracy even in bad weather. More importantly, all of this can be done without breaking stealth. Weapons are stored inside, only revealed when needed. And for larger-scale missions, the F-35 can switch to beast mode, loading up to 18,000 pounds of firepower externally, sacrificing stealth when it's time to overwhelm the enemy. Now, compare that to the J-35. The Chinese fighter is expected to carry the PL-10 short-range and PL-15 long-range air-to-air missiles, advanced, fast, and dangerous. On paper, they look competitive. But beyond the missiles themselves, questions remain about targeting systems, sensor accuracy, and network integration. In war, it's not just about what you fire. It's about when, how, and whether the information guiding it is reliable. The F-35's fire control systems are part of a global intelligence web. It can engage multiple threats based on data not just from its own radar, but from drones, satellites, and even other jets in the area. The J-35, by comparison, is still finding its place in China's broader military network. It may be able to carry a strong payload, but whether it can deliver that payload with the same real-time intelligence and coordination, that's still unclear. Fighter jets aren't just flying guns anymore. They're part of a living battlefield, and the ones that survive are the ones that connect. You can give a pilot the fastest jet in the world, but without the right tools inside the cockpit, it won't matter. Because in modern air combat, victory often comes down to what the pilot knows, and when they know it. The F-35 turns its pilot into something more than human. Thanks to advanced sensor fusion, the aircraft collects data from multiple systems, radar, infrared, satellites, ground units, and blends it all into a single, crystal clear picture. The pilot doesn't have to scan multiple screens or guess what's out there. It's all right there, projected onto their helmet. And that helmet isn't ordinary. It's like something out of a science fiction film, except it's real. The pilot can look through the body of the plane, seeing 360 degrees around and beneath them. Every threat, every target, every friendly unit visible at a glance, in real time. This is how the F-35 gives one pilot the awareness of an entire control center while flying at the speed of sound. The J-35, meanwhile, is expected to feature its own version of modern avionics. Chinese designers have made major strides in radar technology, and the jet will likely include active electronically scanned array, AESA, radar, and helmet-mounted display systems. But there's a difference between building something and proving it works under stress. The F-35 systems are tested, refined, and trusted, thanks to decades of allied collaboration and real combat feedback. The J-35 systems are still mostly theoretical, not yet confirmed in live conditions, and not battle-hardened. In combat, seconds matter, and the aircraft that gives its pilot the first shot often gives them the only shot they'll need. But even with the best systems and strongest engines, what really separates the contenders from the champions is whether any of it actually works when lives are on the line. On paper, both jets look formidable, but war doesn't happen on paper. The F-35 has already crossed the line between development and real combat. It's been deployed in missions over Syria, Iraq, and Afghanistan. It's flown off the decks of aircraft carriers, pierced through anti-aircraft defenses, and returned safely, over and over again. That kind of experience can't be simulated. It's earned, flight by flight. More than a dozen allied nations now operate the F-35. And every mission adds to a growing pool of intelligence, updates, and performance improvements. This aircraft isn't just evolving, it's learning from the battlefield. Now, compare that with the J-35. As of now, it has never flown in combat. In fact, it hasn't even been fully inducted into China's military. Testing is ongoing, particularly for its carrier-based version. And while the J-35 shows potential, it remains untested when it counts most: under fire, under pressure, and under threat. There's a reason militaries around the world line up for the F-35, not just because of how it looks or what it promises, but because they've seen what it does. Because it's flown the missions, faced the threats, and proved itself where it matters most, in the skies over real danger. China's J-35 is promising, but promise alone doesn't stop missiles or save lives. And in the world of military aviation, there's no substitute for combat trust. Trust isn't just built in battle. It's built in who stands with you when things get serious. The F-35 isn't just America's jet. It's part of a vast international defense network. More than 15 allied nations have adopted it, including the United Kingdom, Japan, Australia, Israel, Norway, and more. In some cases, they're not just flying the F-35, they're helping build it. That's how deep the trust runs. It's more than a jet. It's a shared shield, a symbol of unity among nations that believe in freedom, stability, and mutual protection. Each F-35 delivered strengthens that bond. It means shared data, shared defense systems, shared training. And when you multiply that across oceans and continents, it becomes something far more powerful than any single fighter. It becomes a global force multiplier. Now, compare that to the J-35. Right now, China hasn't exported the jet. There are rumors, mostly centered around Pakistan, but no confirmed partners. China's strategy is more closed, more internal. The J-35 is intended for their own navy, their own carriers, their own ambitions. And while that makes sense from a national perspective, it leaves them isolated in terms of shared development and global integration. The F-35 doesn't just fly with allies, it connects them. That's the kind of power that goes far beyond any one airframe. It's the kind of power that defines modern warfare. So here's the big question. If these two stealth fighters ever found themselves on opposite sides of the same sky, who wins? On one side, you've got the J-35, new, sleek, and ambitious. It's fast, hard to detect, and looks ready to compete with any top-tier fighter in the world. But competition isn't the same as domination. Across from it is the F-35, backed by experience, tested in real combat, powered by a global intelligence network, and flown by some of the most skilled aviators on the planet. This isn't a race between prototypes. It's a test of proven technology versus potential. The J-35 might be impressive on paper, but so far, that's where it remains. No combat record, no global alliance, no history of performance under pressure. The F-35, on the other hand, has been there. It's survived missile threats, flown into war zones, executed precision strikes, and brought pilots home safe. And it continues to evolve, not alone, but with the help of dozens of nations constantly upgrading, training, and learning together. In a real fight, with real stakes, history favors what's real, not what's promised. And if you ask any experienced aviator or any commander who's planned missions with lives on the line, they'll tell you, when you're betting on survival, you don't pick potential, you pick trust. When all the facts are on the table, one truth stands tall. The F-35 isn't just a fighter jet, it's a statement. A promise that the skies are guarded by those who prepare, those who lead, and those who never take freedom for granted. The J-35 may represent ambition, and it may one day become a serious rival. But today, the edge still belongs to the aircraft that has already flown the missions, built the alliances, and earned the world's trust. And behind that jet are the men and women in uniform, engineers, pilots, commanders, who don't just fly to show power, they fly to protect it. So here's to the silent strength above us, to the technology that defends without being seen, and to the brave hearts behind every cockpit who keep peace not with words, but with readiness. If this breakdown gave you a new perspective on the skies above and the world below, give this video a like and hit subscribe. There's more coming. Stories that matter. Stories that reveal the truth behind the machines.